FPM is out here supporting me again. This time around, they sent me the paragraph. Much appreciated, FPM. But just because they sent it to me doesn't mean my thoughts have changed or been impacted in any way. Nor have they paid me or anything to say anything. All thoughts are my own. So, on to the review. The paragraph is Yoyo Friend's new budget category monometal. It's Maltvoss's signature and it's priced at like $30. Solid H shape made of 6061 with a 55mm diameter, nice and average, 45mm width, nice and average, and it weighs 65.6 grams. Nice and average. So, the paragraph is one of the most inoffensive yo-yos probably ever. It has a fingerspin dimple as well. Allegedly, Maltvoss wanted the paragraph to be easily affordable while still having good performance, which is valiant, though an accessible market in 2023. The rims are decently thick and wide, so there's a decent amount of rim weight on this yo-yo, though there's a decent amount of center weight with this fingerspin hub as well. Overall, it's a shape that's just very simple. There isn't a whole lot to this yo-yo, and there doesn't need to be a whole lot to this yo-yo. It has easily palatable engravings as well, with the Yoyo Friends logo and the Maltvoss branding, as well as the paragraph symbol. That's what that is, by the way, for those of you that couldn't piece that together. So, how's it play? Well, it's kind of heavy and slow feeling. Depending on who you are, you might like that. But personally, I guessed it weighed up past 66 grams just to check and see that it actually weighed just a little over 65 grams. It just doesn't move as easily as the weight might indicate. When Andy was here, he also agreed with this sentiment. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but for something like speed play, I just don't even consider the paragraph. It doesn't feel right for it at all. It feels reluctant and has substantial mass. This is almost despite the shape and weight distribution. A yo-yo like the paragraph generally has generally good speed play, as in the type of shape and brim-weighted weight distribution. But for some reason, somehow the paragraph just doesn't. I'm not quite sure what it is either, just something about the paragraph isn't fast. But it is decently powerful. It has the wherewithal to handle a rougher style of play. However, this is with the caveat that the weight distribution throws a wrench in the whole system, or at least that I think is the weight distribution, specifically the center weight. See, the paragraph is powerful, but it lacks some stability, and I could be wrong, but I think it's because of all of the added material in the hub for the fingerspin hub. So, basically, it has the power to handle rough play, but if you aren't clean with your plane management while you're rough, it kind of flops over. It is what it is. Where I think this yo-yo shines the most is for individuals who have a more technical style of play and prefer more mass on their yo-yos. The paragraph isn't a yo-yo that lacks control. It's actually a very well-controlling yo-yo. The paragraph isn't a yo-yo that lacks control. It's actually a very well-controlling yo-yo. Its slower pace isn't odd or jarring, so it makes it so the player more or less just has to adjust properly to its slow pacing. This, in tandem with its non-intrusive width, makes it so it's actually a naturally well-suited tech yo-yo, especially with the power of the paragraph. As for zoning, it's about what I'd expect from a yo-yo like the paragraph. I wish I had more to say in regards to zoning, but it just is what it is. It's not intrusive for zoning. It's not too narrow, and it's not excessively wide. I'd say maybe it has the same issue it has for rough play. If you push the roughness and plane mismanagement during zoning, you're probably not going to be able to execute as freely as you may want to, and the same kind of goes for horizontals as well. The paragraph actually has a great shape for horizontals, but you kind of need cleaner technique to make it work as well as it could. Honestly, the paragraph strikes a weird medium where it's good for a lot of different things and types of tricks, and realistically should be a really good yo-yo just across the board, but the odd sensitivity of it makes it difficult to really place. It's solid. I would say though, the fingerspin dimple needs a bit of a buff in my opinion. It's just not deep enough to lock in like other fingerspin cheat yo-yos. The dimple is really shallow, and since there's no ledge, you actually need good technique to lock in and stay locked in on the paragraph. If there was a lip on the outside of the dimple, or again, if it was a little less shallow of a dimple, this problem could be fixed. It's not the worst though. It still fingerspins good if you can get it locked in. So yeah, honestly, it's best served as a generalist yo-yo that kind of leans more toward being tech-oriented. You can brute force some combos, but it won't last as long if you brute force all of them. Finally, the paragraph kind of just has average binds, maybe a little on the slippy side. For comparisons, I'm going with the Shortcut, Yoyo Friend's other budget offering, and the Shutter, which is my personal standard for monometals. I would do a comparison to the Cybercrash as well, but I traded mine away. It is what it is. I'm going to begin with the shortcut, which, in my opinion, is the main rival of the paragraph. So, the shortcut has the edge in raw speed and maneuverability. Despite actually weighing more than the paragraph, the shortcut feels much lighter in play and on the string. The major deviance between these two is actually just how slow the paragraph feels in comparison to the shortcut. If you played with the shortcut and just felt like you absolutely needed a slower moving yo-yo, that's where the paragraph comes in. The paragraph just has a much more forward presence and rim-weighted feeling than the shortcut. This kind of reinforces my view of the paragraph as a generalist skewed towards tech. You can be a bit rougher with the shortcut and not have to focus on technique as well as the paragraph. But the paragraph feels more natural and well suited to tech. As for Zontals, to be completely honest, I just prefer the shortcut over the paragraph. The shortcut's pacing just feels more natural and less inhibiting in my opinion. Obviously, the paragraph got the dimple, so you can do the longer finger spins if you can lock in. Finally, the shortcut's binds are way tighter. They're almost snaggy in comparison to the paragraph's binds. It's kind of nuts. On to the shutter comparison. So, again, the big one is that the paragraph just feels heavier and more powerful than the shutter, but it's slightly different from the shortcut comparison, mainly when discussing speed. Where the shortcut was faster than the paragraph and the shutter are close in their general speed play. Maybe the shutter is a bit more maneuverable due to not feeling as heavy, but the overall pacing and speed of both the paragraph and shutter feels similar. The paragraph just feels slightly heavier and more powerful overall. That sort of sentiment is just kinda ever present across all of the trick categories. Zontals, zoning, tech, speed, you name it, they're similar. But the paragraph just feels slightly heavier and more powerful. Overall, that's kind of just how the paragraph is. It's slightly heavy feeling and kind of powerful. It's solid. It competes directly with the shortcut, and to be honest, I do prefer the shortcut. But if you're a more tech-oriented person, you might prefer the paragraph. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks again to Yoyo Friends for sending the paragraph to me. Adios.